Life TV channel The Break News.
Amici Life, eccoci qui a Venezia, nella città dei dogi, città dell'arte, città appunto di grandi pittori, e il richiamo adesso è la Biennale Architettura 2025. Le telecamere di Life TV non possono mancare a questo evento. Entreremo attraverso i giardini della Marinaressa per incontrare l'arte internazionale. A te la linea, Carmela.
Buongiorno to everyone. We are here in Giardini Marinaressa in Venice for the Biennale Architecture 2025. I'm here with Professor and friend Coleman Jordan.
Yeah, Coleman Jordan. I'm a professor at the Morgan State University, which is a historically black university in the United States. And I've been teaching architecture since I think 1995. But I've been teaching at Morgan State University since 2017.
So, what was the inspiration of this project, Coleman?
Two things. So I should say, I think before that too, I've also a visiting professor at Harvard University, and that's important for me to qualify as well, because they've been very supportive of this project while I've been there. But that being said, the inspiration for this project really stems from the context of having a solidarity moment between those of the African continent and also those of the African diaspora who are outside of the continent. And oftentimes we don't learn about each other. And what I wanted to do was find a way to create a bridge or a moment that we could actually come together. So the first inspiration was a talking drum. The talking drum often comes from the Yoruba culture. In Ghana they have it as well, and also in Senegal. But the talking drum is a way of communication. Drums have been critical for those of the African and African diaspora communities, because whether you're in Brazil, whether you're in Colombia, Cuba, any parts of the Caribbean, as well as in the U.S. where you have the Congo Square in New Orleans, the drums were always a space, a free space for us to gather, a way to communicate, and let the communities know what's actually happening at that moment in that time, as well as festivities and being able to celebrate our communities and who we are. So that's where the inspiration comes from.
And who are the collaborators, and what role did they play in that?
Okay, so the first collaborators are students, graduate students that were in my class, that were phenomenal students. They followed me, I followed them in a way that we came together. They sort of took the ideas that I had at the initial start, where we had sketches and designs based on the drums, and then I brought them in. They were excited about the project, so I roped them in. And then after that, as we developed the project, we started to look at the context of, I would say, immigrants and refugees in the context of African diaspora peoples. With this project in particular, we could not use a hard shell up at the top. And because we couldn't use a hard shell because of the winds in Venice, we said, let's look at textiles and cloth. That's where Fabrizio and Talking Hands comes in. Fabrizio has a collective community group that has designed furniture, they've designed clothing, and from my understanding, the background stems from refugees and immigrants coming into the country, where he's been supportive of their efforts to get their papers or move forward with registering either in Italy or moving, I guess, beyond Italy as well, depending on their placements. So we have Talking Hands. When it comes to recycling and restoration, we looked at R3B. Now I may get the acronym wrong, but it's basically rebuild, restore, and recycle. They've been beneficial in the initial ideas, because what they have done is take old projects or projects at the end of any of the biennales and saved what the materials that were going to be useful instead of throwing them all away. They saved what materials they could, use those materials for either the next biennale and or community projects, I believe throughout Italy, but anywhere close range of Venice in particular. So yeah, so it's been R3B, Talking Hands, students from Morgan State University, and also we brought students in from Tuskegee University, which was one of the first architecture programs for HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities. We brought them in as well because of the historical context, but also the faculty that we've been able to work with there also wanted to collaborate with us. So they've also been a part of it, and I don't think I'm missing anyone else, but it was a large community.
What university participated in this project, and what role did the student play in developing this work?
So one thing I think is really important. So I've been teaching for some time, and when I teach grad students in particular, and I involve them in projects, this is not the first exhibition that I've involved students. But one thing that I think is really important is that they're not just there to look or to do what's been asked of them, but to actually be participants in the process. So I was inspired by the ideas that students brought to the table when we were doing this design. So their role in this process is, if we divided up all the percentages of all the collective organizations as well as those students that have worked with us, we'd all be even across the board. So yes, I may have had the initial idea of this, but this is not my project. This project is all of ours. It's really a community collective, and the students had every step of the way design ideas, the technology. We have some students that are in the building industry, so they knew how to put materials together, which I learned a lot from. And we also involved Clemson University is in South Carolina. I was a student at Clemson University for grad school. Dan Harding, who was a classmate of mine, also came on board, and those Clemson students were collaborators in this project as well, and they really did a prototype for us that sold us to create what you see behind us now. But Dan Harding is phenomenal in his understanding of materials, and again, this project is done by wood, what we call wood joinery. So any piece, if you take out too many pieces, the project is not stable. So it's a democratic process with all the groups that we work together with, and this project represents that because it has to hold together by the community of materials, the community of the textile. All of it works together, because if you take too many of them apart, the whole thing collapses. So this is a very stable project because we were stable, I think, in our process, and so the project actually reflects that. So the students were very much a part of the actual design.
From the Venice Biennale Architecture 2025, this time thanks to Tiziano, they always choose special people with special project. Grazie Tiziano, and see you next.
So I want to thank, first of all, the European Cultural Center and their whole team, from the grounds crew, the directors, Lucia, the names I won't go through because I will mess them up, I'm sure. But I want to thank the European Cultural Center for even believing in us and allowing us to do this project. I have to thank Carmela, because Carmela has also been a huge supporter of our project since 2021. Without that sort of backbone and support, I don't think we would have been able to get this done. She's been receptive, but I also want to thank, so Carmela has been wonderful, and we love her. I also want to thank Venice for being accessible with the Biennale, and we'll be back. Venice is my second home now, I think.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I come here in the summers, and so I just want to say thank you, and also thank you to TV Life Italy and Tiziano. So thank you.